February is American Heart Month, a time when all people, especially women, are encouraged to focus on their cardiovascular health. And our next guest is here to help us spread the word on this very important cause.
Yeah, how lucky are we? She's a comedian, a writer, Emmy-nominated actress, and advocate who just last night walked the runway.
Yes.
Okay. Walked the runway at the American Heart Association's Red Dress Collection concert, and she is here to tell us all about it. Please welcome the very funny and talented Yvonne Orji. Good to see you. I couldn't even finish my read. I was like, hey.
Listen, Naomi not the only one that got awards.
I heard that. So tell us about last night's event and why it was important for you to take part in it.
It was really amazing. You know, women coming together, obviously, like you said, heart health is extremely important, especially when you add not only layer of women, but also the African-American community and disenfranchised communities. It's like we have to spread awareness because y'all know the rates, they're high. They're not great when it comes to if it's preeclampsia, if it's high blood pressure. And, you know, I'm an immigrant. My mom is, I'm from Nigeria, but, you know, growing up in my house, my mom would always be like, don't stress me, my hypertension. And I'm like, what is like, I was like, hypertension, and it wasn't until I grew up that I was like, oh, she's saying hypertension, okay. But it was always that thing of like making sure I would watch my mom, like check her blood pressure just to make sure like her levels weren't high. And so I think I grew up with that sense. She was a nurse for 30 years. I grew up with that sense of understanding like heart health and the importance of it and monitoring it. But a lot of people don't know. And younger people now, younger and younger and younger, we see the athletes, the young people who are having heart disease, and it's just like we need to figure this out.
My mom was a nurse also.
Yes.
And they are oftentimes the worst patients, as you and I know. But you know, obviously, heart disease, #1 killer of men and women. Most women hear that statistic and they think, oh, yeah, no, maybe I know that, but not me. That's not going to be me. So a lot of times you have to have a personal kind of impetus for getting involved. Was there something personal for you, or why did you want to get involved?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, my mom, too, was a nurse at Howard University for 30 years, and so I always watched her. But something really amazing happened, because like you said, it's like sometimes they're the worst patients. But my mom, I will say, she not only was a good patient, but she was a good teacher. So I didn't know, unbeknownst to me, she had been teaching my dad, like, CPR, or like knowing when to do CPR. So my dad just turned 80, and he was hanging out with a friend of his who was like 70-something years old, and he just recognized that he was slurring his words, and his eyes started rolling behind, and my dad, who was 80, sprung into action and did CPR on his friend.
And saved a life.
And saved his life. And I was like, Dad, how did you even know to do that? Well, your mother has been bothering me for all of these years. And I was like, Mom. And of course, it's true, my mom fashion. She's like, yeah, well, that's what I do, you know? And I was like, you're taking credit for this? But it's those things of like, I was like, how would you even know that that's when you do CPR? Because sometimes we think, you know, you watch Baywatch, and you're like, that's when you do CPR if someone's drowning. But it's like, no, heart health is important.
Good for you.
I got to ask you kind of what you're working on, what's coming up next for you.
Do tell. Well, now that the strikes are over, you know, we can actually get back to work. I have a development deal with Sony, so I'm very excited to develop some fun stuff. We optioned a book, so I'll be, you know, working on some writing, working on some directing.
Nice.
Good things to come soon.
And in your spare time, you could walk the catwalk.
Oh, yeah, you know.
You did it so well.
I'm heading to Milan Fashion Week, so I really am.
Nice.
So, you know,
there you go.
We'll see what happens.
Keep doing your thing and making us proud.
Thank you, baby.
And your mom, too.
Oh, yes, I know.
And your dad.
She's going to take credit for this, too. I told her to say those things.
Well, Yvonne, we're so grateful that we were able to have you here with us today. And you can go check out Go Red for Women online to get more information on risks, warning signs, and symptoms of heart disease and stroke.
It is so important.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.